Okay, so I'm Lewis,
And I'm Kristiina.
and this is our new venture, Ascension Dimension. We don't really know where it's going from here. What a way to start strong. No, we've been on a bit of a journey, a very significant journey in terms of personal development, spiritual development, dealing with the craziness of 2020, 2021, which has made us drastically shift our perspective about how the world is, how do we raise our children, and how do we view the world, and how do we connect with the people that have been in our lives and are sort of fading away and sort of meeting our new tribe.
Yeah, it's basically our spiritual journey, our physical journey, and all the ups and downs that have come along with it. And maybe you can relate to some of our little crazy that we have to deal with in our day to day. So basically, we both work from home. We live in Spain.
Yep.
And we did have our children in the school system up until this year. So obviously we've been juggling a lot of balls and a lot of different things, and with COVID our perspective has changed massively.
Yeah, it's forced the dark power structure to come out into the open, which we were quite complacent about. Not realizing exactly how much power we didn't have. You know, when a school starts to threaten social services because you don't want them to go in and be in a mask for 6 hours a day, it's gut-wrenchingly obvious that a school and a government shouldn't have that kind of control. And it really makes you have a very significant reality check. So that's part of the biggest fight we've been having lately, is to do with all of this, because there's things that just deep down in the soul, it's obvious that, well, I'm not doing that. I don't want our kids to do that.
No, and we've been through the whole backwards and forwards. Well, we'll make sacrifices, we'll all just, what way can we figure it out? And at every single turn there's been another slap in the face that just makes us realise that you got to stand up and say no. You have to reprioritise things and what is more important. And there is nothing more important than the health and safety of your own children, I don't think, when you're a parent. And you will sacrifice absolutely anything to keep them safe.
But I think it's worth saying that just going along with it now is no longer okay.
No.
Just going along with it is actually being a collaborator. If you know that you're not going to drop dead in the street because of this virus, and you know that it's a bit over the top, and you know that it doesn't make sense, well, stop doing it. Stop collaborating with these psychopaths, because the longer everyone does it, the more we all suffer. So if we just take off these damn masks and stop making your kids wear them, that's what I really, really don't like, is the hypocrisy, where people that we know, they're like, yeah, well, it's not they're not really that worried about the virus itself, and they'll break all the rules that they can get away with comfortably, but they'll still send their kids into school and make them suffer. It's not right. It's hypocritical, and stop going along with it if you know.
At the beginning, none of us knew any better. None of us saw this coming. We were all very naive. None of us actually saw the bigger picture. But if you've been down the rabbit hole, you do know. And a lot of people are in the position where they can't take their kids out of school. But what we can do is we can fight back. Personally, we are the only people fighting back in our current school. So we are labelled as completely crazy and non-compliant.
Why don't you just go along with it?
Yeah, and it's got quite bad. It's got quite bad to the point where I've closed the loop because of the social services thing. I mean, we were worried about it. I never sent them back to school in September. I kept them off all the way till the end of October, and then on November we got the first warning. So we thought, okay, we'll send them in, and I sent them in, and it was literally the second day they got back from school, the big bags under the eyes. They had black eyes, both of them, from wearing a mask all day, and my heart broke. And I think that's when my anxiety kicked in full-fold, which I'd been dealing with already for various reasons. I couldn't even take the kids to the bus, to put them on the bus. It was bad. And I don't think any parent should have to feel like they're putting their child into such
an abusive situation. So personally, everyone can do whatever they like. From a personal perspective, I thought, well, I don't want to do this. So I spoke to the school, and they were quite helpful. They said, well, if you don't want them to wear a mask because it's law, you'll just have to school from home. So I said, okay. Well, we went backwards and forwards. They went for 2 days. I'd be at home for 2 weeks. I'd go for 2 days. I'd be home for 2 weeks. So then in January, I decided, okay, well, they're not going to come to school. And then the narrative changed. It was, well, if they're not going to come to school, we have to tell social services after the 5th day they miss. So I was like, well, it's making them physically ill. They're not to wear a mask. It's like, well, you have to wear a mask because it's law. But then now I've started digging in further. It's not a law. It's not a law. And if you have any medical condition, or it affects you medically in any way, you are not required to wear a mask. It doesn't say anywhere that we have to have a medical certificate or a medical exemption. You just have to have a medical reason. And this is where the law goes grey, and everyone has to stand up for themselves, and it's very difficult. It is difficult, and I totally it's not even
understand.
grey, is it? It's there in black and white. It's just a case of you have to stop following what the telly says.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you have to fight the education system, because they believe through and through in their heart and soul that they are correct and that they are right and that they have the right to tell you that your child must wear a mask. And I've spoken to a few parents whose children don't want to wear a mask or don't wear a mask, and they've been bullied and stuff at school for it, which it's terrible. It's terrible. But in Spain, homeschooling is, people say it's illegal, but it's not. It's not. It's another grey area, and it depends on the judge and all this kind of stuff. So it's really bad that other people get to say what you can and can't do with your kids, basically. That's what it comes down to.
Additionally, you think it might be so straightforward as getting an exemption certificate from the doctor, but that has not been easy either.
No.
Because the doctors are under immense pressure.
Yeah.
Because they think they can get sued if they write an exemption and then someone ends up getting COVID because of that. Or they're unnecessarily worried about that. But there's so much pressure being put on through this evil power structure, and it just filters all the way down to us.
Yeah, so I've gone through the path of least resistance. I didn't want to have a massive court case, social services, all that kind of stuff. So every time he's sick, because he's physically getting sick from the mask. One physically with the getting bad chest and tired and having psychological effects as well, and the other one getting skin issues on the face. And they are young children. Our children are 8 and 6, and so I just go to the doctors, keep them home. Will you do a PCR test? No, I refuse. So then I get the 10 days at home, and I've been doing this for the first 2 cycles of school, getting my 2 weeks of allowed children at home, take them for two days of school. But even that, even a tiny amount of time with a mask on it, it's not fair. It's not right. I can't bear to wear a mask for even a minute. So it's not right for me to ask my children to wear one who I know suffer the same problem. And then I managed to get my medical exemption from the doctor, kind of, to close the loop with the social services. And then I've got the school saying that now one of the teachers wants to kick up a fuss and not evaluate the children, that they're going to pass them, because in Spain if you don't get certain grades you don't pass to the following year. They're going to pass them to not jeopardise the child's future, but they're not going to evaluate the work that they're doing at home, which is ethically wrong, personally, because the children are doing the work, they're doing the exams, they're working hard, so they should be evaluated at some point. But it's a fight that's not necessary. They're going to get to the next year, so that's fine. And legally, the school is required to give them an education, with or without a mask.
Yeah, so basically the matrix of control and that has been affecting every single aspect of our lives is starting to crumble. Well, it's painfully obvious now.
Yeah.
And we were just very sleepily going along with it all, and only when something comes along like this that shakes you out of
Wakes you up.
the days that you were in.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's causing the biggest problem with most people, is getting their heads around the fact that government is looking after you and has your best interests at heart.
It's really not. No.
So anyway, this channel is going to be. I'm an information junkie. Basically, I spend a lot of my time doing a lot of research and finding out information on the internet. It's been my thing. I used to work for one of the very first ISPs in the UK back in the early 2000s, and it's just been one of the things I've been quite good at. So I'll hopefully be sharing some information as and when I find it.
Yeah, and I'm a spiritual junkie, so to speak. I'm on a very spiritual journey, as we are both, I think.
Yeah.
And obviously now juggling the homeschooling aspect with the current situation is very, very interesting. So we just want to share our journey, and if there's anything that resonates with you, maybe help you out in yours if you're going through the same situation, because it's all about coming together and helping each other out.
Time to take the power back.
Yes, and knowing that you're not alone in the world, and you're not suffering alone through the crazy that is happening. And the movie screens have entered our actual reality now, so it's time for us all to wake up and take back our control.
So that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're new, you probably will be new.
Yeah. This is us. We'll be doing this on a weekly basis.
Yeah, that's the plan.
And then anything else that comes up in between, we will be sharing as much information as we gather.
All right. Bye for now.
Bye for now.